want to show you how to do some basic data crunching using Google Sheets. And the great thing about Google Sheets is it's on Macs, it's on PCs, it's on anyone that doesn't have Microsoft Office can use it. So it's really useful, and we're going to be using it a lot in biology. So let's say we've got some data and we're collecting data on how often students check their social media. And we have middle school students and upper school students, and we ask 12 students and how many times during the school day they check social media, and we get these responses for middle school students and these responses for upper school students. And you say, okay, what can I conclude? Well, I can't really conclude anything right now because I just have a lot of numbers, okay? So first thing I need to figure out is what's my average social media use for middle school and upper school students, right? So to figure out the average, I want to go down here and I want to just say equals, and equals is telling the software or the Google Sheet that I want to make a calculation. I want you to calculate something, right? So I'm going to say that we don't use mean, we use average for a command here. So I'm just going to type in A-V-E-R-A-G-E, average. Okay, and then notice it's kind of giving you some options there, but all I want is just the straight up average. And then average what? So now I want to grab, click, and drag all the numbers I want it to average. And you can see that's B2 up at the top down to B13, right? The cells that I've highlighted, okay? And I want to do the close parentheses on that and then hit enter, and it's giving me an average, okay? Now something that's kind of cool is I want to do the exact same thing with this column, okay? And I could go through that same process, but I could also say, I want you to do exactly what you did on this column with middle school students with this column of upper school students. So I'm going to grab this little blue dot in the corner, I'm going to drag it over right here, and I've got 7.91666667. And those are probably not going to all be significant figures for our data, right? We don't need that many places past the decimal point. So when you do get a number like that, you can go up here and you can round it down. Let's go to 7.92. That sounds good. Okay. So that's the median, and I'm sorry, the mean over the average. The median is the middle value in there. So of all those data points, sometimes we want to calculate a median or middle value. So to do that, I go equals, and then I just type in median, M-E-D-I-A-N, parentheses, and then don't grab the mean value, but then just grab all of the student data points, right, that are these. So B2 through B13. Okay, and I have 7. Okay. For mode, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go equals mode. Mode is the most frequent value in your data set, right? So it's going to tell you not necessarily what the average is or the median value, but what number are you getting most frequently in there. Okay, so we're going to say the mode is going to be, again, not for my mean or median, but for actually my data, my 12 students, B2 through B13. I get that. And then standard deviation. This is what is the spread. In other words, when you created, let's say in physical science class, a histogram, that showed you how the data was spread. But we have an average value, and we want to know where would 2/3 of our data points be relative to that average value. Would they be really close to it, like within maybe 9, 7.5 to 9, or would they be farther away? So the standard deviation will tell you where 2/3 of your data set would lie given that mean value, that how well your distribution is either widely spread or narrowly spread around the mean. So to do that, we put in equals, and we put STDEV, and you'll notice it's given us a bunch of options here, and we want to do the one for a sample because we just have 12 students. We haven't got data for every student in Louisiana or the United States, right? We just have 12. So we want to do STDEV.S, standard deviation for a sample, and then we want to, again, not use our mean, median, or mode data, but just our actual data. And actually, if I don't put up close parentheses, if I just hit return, it's going to figure that one out for me. So again, got way too many numbers past the decimal. So I want to come up here and I want to kind of get this down to like that. Okay. Now what I can do, again, for these three values, I want to do the exact same thing for my upper school students that I did with middle school. So I can just take this and I can drag it over here. Whoops. And you'll notice I've got the same calculations for this side as I have for this. Now notice for my upper school students, I have a median value of 7.5. Well, that's weird. Well, let's also number our students. So if I go 1 and 2, I could go all the way down to 12, but again, I'm going to let Google Sheets figure out if I say 1, 2, what do you think the next number is going to be? And I'm going to just drag all the way down, and it's going to figure out my pattern that I'm going counting by ones from 1 to 12. Okay, so I have 12 students, and what happens is I don't really have a middle value. I have one that's just above the middle and one that's just below the middle, and it turns out that those two values here are going to be 7 and 8, so that my median value is the average between my two middle values, which is 7.5. That's why I have a decimal there. Okay, mode, my most frequent value here was 6, my most frequent value on this one was 7, and then my spread around the mean, 2/3 of my data points fall plus or minus 3.22 for middle school and 2.71 for the upper school. So that's how you calculate the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation using Google Sheets. Okay.